What's the story, guys? My name is Noreentiwole, and today we're continuing reading the Fellowship of the Ring. I almost said Fellowship of the Rings. Fellowship of the Ring. It's the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I'm reading, and I can't remember where I left off last time, but I'm going to keep on going from wherever. We have no music today. Why? Because every time I put music on for ambience, I think I said that completely wrong. Every time I put music on for ambiance. Listen, I don't give a shit. Whatever it's called. They copyright me. That's not very nice. It's not very nice at all. So anywho, we're gonna get back into it. I'm gonna start from wherever. And yeah, we're on page 24. So let's do it, right, guys? Then you've heard more than I can speak to you, answered the gaffer. I know nothing about jewels. Mr. Bilbo is free. Wait, am I further along? Okay, listen. Okay. Sorry, I also need to stop cursing. Sorry, guys. Then you've heard more than I can speak to, answered the gaffer. I know nothing about jewels. Mr. Bilbo is free with his money, and there seems to be no lack of it. But I know of no tunnel making. I saw Mr. Bilbo when he came back, a matter of 60 years ago, when I was a lad. I'd not long come pretense to old Holman, him being my dad's cousin. But he had me. Everyone's related in this story, it seems like. Anywho. Well, he had me up at Bag End, helping him to keep folks from trampling and trespassing all over the garden while the sale was on. And in the middle of it all, Mr. Bilbo came up the hill with a pony and some mighty big bags and a couple of chests. I don't doubt they were mostly full of treasure he had picked up in foreign parts, where there were be mountains of gold, they say. But there wasn't enough to fill tunnels. But my lad Sam will know more than about that. What are the symptoms of dyslexia? Why am I struggling with some of this? Okay, let me lock in. But my lad Sam will know more about that. He's in and out of Bag End, crazy about stories of the old days, he is. And he listens to all Mr. Bilbo's tales. Mr. Bilbo has learned him his letters, meaning no harm, mark you, and I hope no harm will come of it. Elves and dragons, I say to him. Cabbages and potatoes are better for me and you. Don't get mixed up in the business of your betters, or you'll land in trouble too big for you, I say to him. And I might say to others, he added, with the look of the stranger and the miller. But the gaffer did not convince his audience. The legend of Bilbo's wealth was now too firmly fixed in the minds of the younger generation of hobbits. So they all look up to who? Bilbo? Or the gaffer? Oh, Bilbo's wealth. Okay. They all want money. Okay. But he has likely enough been adding to what he brought at first, argued the miller, voicing common opinion. He's often away from home. And look at the outlandish folk that visit him. Dwarves coming at night, and that old wandering conjurer, Gandalf, and all. You could, hold on. Old wandering conjurer. This is Sir Gandalf we're talking about. He's him. Do you understand? We will not accept any Gandalf slander. No. After everything he's done? Who said this? Sorry, we need to pinpoint who said this. The miller? I think it is. The miller voicing common opinion. He's off. Miller, hold your horses. Put some respect on Mr. Gandalf's name, respectfully. Anyways, where was I at? You can say what you like, Gaffer, but Bag End's a queer place and its folks are queerer. And you can say what you like about what you know no more of than you do of boating, Mr. Sandyman, retorted the Gaffer, disliking the miller even more than usual. I wonder why. He seems to be really cheeky. Anywho, there's some not far away that would offer a pint of beer to a friend if they lived in a hole with golden walls. They do things proper at Bag End. Our Sam says that everyone's going to be invited to the party and there's going to be presents, mark you presents for all, this very month as is. That very month was September, and as fine as you could ask, a day or two later, a rumour, probably started by the knowledgeable Sam, was spread about that there were going to be fireworks what is more, such as had not been seen in the Shire for nigh on a century, not indeed since the old Took died. Who's old Took? Probably someone important. Days passed and the day drew nearer. An odd-looking wagon, laden with odd-looking packages, rolled into Hobbiton one evening and toiled up the hill to Bag End. The startled hobbits peered out of lamplit doors to gape at it. It was driven by outlandish folks singing strange songs, dwarves with long beards and deep hoods. A few of them remained at Bag End. I feel like I read this part. Oh, reading it again. At the end of the second week in September, a cart came in through Bywater from the direction of Brandwyn Bridge in broad daylight. An old man was driving it all alone, who wore a tall, pointed blue hat, a long grey cloak, and a silver scarf. He had a long white beard and bushy eyebrows that stuck out behind the brim of his hat. Small hobbit children ran after the cart all through Hobbiton and right up the hill. It had a cargo of fireworks, as we rightly guessed. At Bilbo's front door, the old man began to unload. There was great bundles of fireworks of all sorts and shapes, each labeled with a large red G and the elf rune. So I see symbols here. They look interesting. That was Gandalf's mark, of course, and the old man was Gandalf the wizard, whose fame in the Shire was due mainly to his skill with fires, smokes, and lights. His real business was far from difficult and dangerous, but the Shire folk knew nothing about it. To them, he was just one of the attractions at the party. Hence the excitement of the hobbit children. G for grand, they shouted, and the old man smiled. So he's respected on these sides. They knew him by sight, though he only appeared in Hobbiton occasionally and never stopped long. But so I have read this. Okay, anyways, whatever. But they nor any but the oldest of their elders had seen one of his firework displays. They now belonged to a legendary past. When the old man, helped by Bilbo and some dwarves, had finished unloading, Bilbo gave a few pennies away, but not a single squib or cracker was forthcoming, to the disappointment of the onlookers. "Run away now," said Gandalf. "You will get plenty when the time comes." Then he disappeared inside with Bilbo, and the door was shut. The young hobbit stared at the door in vain for a while, and then made off, feeling that the day of the party would never come. Inside Bag End, Bilbo and Gandalf were sitting at the open window of a small room looking out west on the garden. The late afternoon was bright and peaceful. The flowers glowed red and golden, snapdragons and sunflowers and nasturtiums. What is that, guys? Trailing all over the turf walls and peeping in and at the round windows. "How bright your garden looks," said Gandalf. "Yes," said Bilbo. "I am very fond indeed of it, and of all the dear old Shire, but I think I need a holiday. Don't we all? Don't we all? You mean to go on with your plan then?" "I do. I made up my mind months ago, and I haven't changed it." "Very well. It is no good saying any more. Stick to your plan, your whole plan, mind, and I hope it will turn out for the best for you, and for all of us. I hope so. Anyway, I mean to enjoy myself on Thursday, and have my little joke." "Who will laugh, I wonder," said Gandalf, shaking his head. "We shall see," said Bilbo. The next day, more carts rolled up to the hill, and still more carts. There might have been some grumbling about dealing locally, but that very week's orders began to pour out of Bag End for every kind of provision, commodity or luxury that could be obtained in Hobbiton or Bywater or anywhere in the neighbourhood. People became unenthusiastic, and they began to tick off the days on the calendar. People became enthusiastic, and they began to tick off the days of the calendar, and they watched eagerly for the postman, hoping for invitations. Before long, the invitations began pouring out, and the Hobbiton post office was blocked, and the Bywater post office was snowed under, and voluntary assistant postmen were called for. There was a constant stream of... How many people are in Hobbiton? It sounds like there's loads. Anywho, there was a constant stream of them going up the hill, carrying hundreds of polite variations on "Thank you, I shall certainly come." A notice appeared on the gate at Bag End: "No admittance except on party business." Even those who had or pretended to have party business were seldom allowed inside. Bilbo was busy, writing invitations, taking off answers, packing up presents, and making some private preparations of his own. From the time of Gandalf's arrival, he remained hidden from view. Wait, so is Bilbo the main organizer then? That's a lot for one person if there's loads of these hobbits around. Anywho. One morning, the hobbits woke up to find the large field south of Bilbo's front door covered with ropes and poles for tents and pavilions. A special entrance was cut into the bank leading to the road, and white steps and a large white gate were built there. The three hobbit families of Bagshot Row, adjoining the fields, were intensely interested and generally envied. Old Gaffer Gamgee stopped even pretending to work in his garden. The tents began to go up. There was a especially large pavilion, so big that the tree that grew in the field was right inside it, and stood proudly near one end, at the head of the chief table. Lanterns were hung on all its branches. More promising still to the hobbit's mind, an enormous open-air kitchen was erected in the north corner of the field. A draught of cooks from every inn and eating house for miles around arrived to supplement the dwarves and other odd folk that were quartered at Bag End. Excitement rose to its height. Then the weather clouded over. That was on Wednesday, the eve of the party. Anxiety was intense. Why are they so nervous about this party? It's meant to be lit, no? Then Thursday, September the 22nd actually dawned. The sun got up, the clouds vanished, flags were unfurled, and the fun began. Okay, now we're in it. Bilbo Baggins called it a party, but it was really a variety of entertainments rolled into one. Practically everybody living near was invited. A very few were overlooked by accident, but as they turned up all the same, that did not matter. Many people from other parts of the Shire were also asked, and there were even a few from outside the borders. Bilbo met the guests and additions at the new White Gate in person, gave away presents to all and sundry. The latter were those who went out again by a back way and came in again by the gate. Hobbits gave presents to other people on their own birthdays, not very expensive ones, as a rule, and not so lavishly as on this occasion. But it was not a bad system. Actually, in Hobbiton and Bywater, every day in the year was somebody's birthday. So that must be so annoying when you're trying to first off, you have to get different gifts that are different all the time for different people, and you have so many of these hobbits. Every day was someone's birthday. Okay, anywho. So that every hobbit in those parts had a fair chance of at least one present at least once a week. But they never got tired of them. Okay, so they're grateful people. We love to see it. On this occasion, the presents were unusually good. The hobbit children were so excited that for a while they almost forgot about eating. There were toys like of which they had never seen before, all beautiful and some obviously magical. Many of them had indeed been ordered a year before and had come all the way from the mountain and from Dale, and were of real dwarf make. When every guest had been welcomed and was finally inside the gate, there were songs, dances, music, games, and of course food and drink. There were 3 official meals: lunch, tea, and dinner, or supper. But lunch and tea were marked chiefly by the fact that at those times all the guests were sitting down and eating together. At other times there were merely lots of people eating and drinking continuously from 11s until 6:30 when the fireworks started. The fireworks were by Gandalf. They were not only brought by him, but designed and made by him. Okay. Alright, so he's got a bit of skill to him. And the special effects, set pieces, and flights of rockets were let off by him. So he's doing everything. What were the other hobbits doing? Having a good time. But there were also a generous distribution of squibs, crackers, bacca wrappers, sparklers, torches, dwarf candles, elf fountains, goblin barkers, and thunderclaps. That's a lot of stuff. They were all superb. The art of Gandalf improved with age. There were rockets like a flight of scintillating birds singing with sweet voices. There were green trees with trunks of dark smoke. Their leaves opened like a whole spring unfolding in a moment, and their shining branches dropped glowing flowers down upon the astonished hobbits, disappearing with a sweet scent just before they touched their upturned faces. There were fountains of butterflies that flew glittering into the tree. This is an amazing display, it sounds like. It sounds like such a beautiful look or visual. There were fountains of butterflies that flew glittering into the trees. There were pillars of colored fires that rose and turned into eagles or sailing ships or a phalanx. A phalanx. I've never seen this word in my life before. It's spelled Phalanx. LANX of flying swans. So I guess it means collective. There was a red thunderstorm and a shower of yellow rain. There was a forest of silver spears that sprang. Nah, they put real effort into the display. That sprang slowly into the air with a yell like an embattled army and came down into the water with a hiss like 100 hot snakes. And there was also one last surprise in honor of Bilbo, and it startled the hobbits exceedingly, as Gandalf intended. The lights went out. A great smoke went up. It shaped itself like a mountain seen in the distance and began to glow at the summit. It spouted green and scarlet flames. Out flew a rare golden dragon, not life-size but terribly lifelike. Fire came from his jaws, his eyes glared down, there was a roar, and he whizzed 3 times over the heads of the crowd. They all ducked, and many fell flat on their faces. The dragon passed like an express train, turning a somersault and burst over by water with a deafening explosion. So it's not smog, is it? But I've seen the movies. And I think I know the image you're talking about in my head. Anywho, that is the signal for supper, said Bilbo. The pain and alarm vanished at once, and the prostrate hobbits leaped to their feet. There was a splendid supper for everyone that is, except those invited to the special family dinner party. This was held in the great pavilion with the tree. The invitations were limited to 12 dozen, a number also called by the hobbits one gross. Though the word was not considered proper to use of people, one gross. Oh, as in one mass. And the guests were selected from all families to which Bilbo and Frodo were related, with the addition of a few special unrelated friends, such as Gandalf. Many young hobbits were included and present by parental permission, for hobbits were easygoing with their children in the matter of sitting up late, especially when there was a chance of getting them a free meal. Who doesn't like free food? Bringing up young hobbits took a lot of provender. There were many Bagginses and Boffins, and also many Tucks and Brandybooks. There were various Grubs, relations of Bilbo Baggins' grandmother, and various Chubbs, connections of his Tuck great-grandfather, and a selection of Burrowses, Bulgars, Bracegirdles, Brockhouses, Good Bodies, Hornblowers, and Proudfoots. Okay. A lot of family trees and dynamics. I wonder if there's people in this. I wonder if there's hobbits that don't even know they're related to each other, because there's so many of them around, you know? Some of these were only very distantly connected with Bilbo, and some had hardly ever been in Hobbiton before, as they lived in remote corners of the Shire. So there's likely that some of them don't even know each other. Sackville Bagginses were not forgotten. Octo and his wife, Lobelia, were present. They disliked Bilbo and detested Frodo. Why? Bilbo and Frodo seemed real chill. But so magnificent was the invitation card, written in golden ink, that they had felt it was impossible to refuse. So they don't like them, but because they hear of a lit time, they're like, let's turn up. People. Or should I say, hobbits. Anywho, I think I've said anywho like 5 times now, but you know, keep on going. Besides, their cousin Bilbo felt it was impossible to. Oh, I just read the same line. Sorry, guys. Besides, their cousin Bilbo had been specializing in food for many years, and his table had a high reputation. All the 144 guests expected a pleasant feast, though they rather dreaded the after-dinner speech of their host, an inevitable item. He was liable to drag in bits of what he called poetry, and sometimes after a glass or two would allude to the absurd adventures of his mysterious journey. So he's a talker, a big one. You know what, guys? I'm going to stop here. Page 29. That was good. A good little read. If you're new here, like and subscribe, and drop a comment if you like it, or don't. Anywho, I'll see you guys in the next one.